Hello, and welcome to my office. So we made it out of the pantry for a little while, and yeah, I'm in my office right now, and it's a good vibe. I like it here. A few pictures from my life. I thought I'd just give you those as a backdrop. I like having them in my office just to remind me of how lucky I've got it. All right. I get to show you about Webstorm, and Webstorm is awesome. And so here's a preview of what we're going to see in this video. And one thing I want to encourage you, one other perspective which is really helpful when going through this course, a perspective which is going to help you, is to approach this course as if we are investing in you, and that takes time. It takes time to learn something, and you could go online and you could take one of these trainings where it's like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and like it'll cover like here's everything, 2 hours and 30 minutes, and you'll understand it probably while you watch it all. But then when you go to use it, you'll be like, oh, how do I do that? And so my approach is a little bit more casual and relaxed. Kind of think of this as like you and I hanging out on my back porch having beers and coding with our computers, and just like, hey, check it out, look at what we can do. And so that perspective of, okay, we're settling in for a little bit of time together, and we're just going to hang out on my porch, and I'm going to show you how to code and build websites. That perspective will help you going through this class, because there's a ton of videos out there where it's very succinct and it's all compact and they get through it really quickly. And even when I watch those videos, I'm like, okay, I got to watch that video again. I got to slow that down. I got to stop that video. Anyhow, so that's my approach, is just a little bit more relational, casual. Let's take the time to really learn something together. And it does take time. This class is a whole semester. At a college and university, that's 18 weeks. That's like 4 hours a week. That's like 40 to 72 hours, of class that this is taught. And ours won't be that long. But at the same time, make sure that your perspective isn't like just the 2 hour, intense sprint, which you could find that plenty of places. So everybody has to find their own niche, and this is mine, doing it this way. Hopefully it works for you. It totally works for me. All right, so we're going to learn about Webstorm. I love Webstorm. One of the reasons I really like Webstorm is because it's created by this company, JetBrains. And so here's JetBrains. And JetBrains makes a whole bunch of different IDEs. And so an IDE is an integrated development environment. IDE, integrated development environment. And so some people talk about there's editors, and an editor might just be like a plain text editor, like Notepad. And some people are like, all right, that's where I write my code. But anyhow, there's a whole bunch of different products out there, different pieces of software that you could choose as a developer to write your code in. And people have different perspectives and choices and opinions and preferences for what they use. I really like JetBrains, and the reason I like JetBrains and Webstorm is because JetBrains also makes IntelliJ, which is used for Java programming, and then Android Studio, which Google created, is created on top of IntelliJ. So if you know Webstorm, you're going to have familiarity if you go into other languages and you want to use, like the JetBrains IDE, Integrated Development Environment, for programming in that language, you'll already have familiarity with JetBrains products. And that's why we choose it at the college where I teach, because we teach our web students with Webstorm, we teach our Java students with IntelliJ, and then we teach our Android programming class, and we use Android Studio. And so they know the same sort of interface as they go to the different languages. Anyhow, that's why I like Webstorm, created by JetBrains. And it's also a really good product. So you could go and just search for Webstorm download, and then, just, I guess right here, right there, I'd click it and then come here and download this to my computer and install it. And it does cost money, unless you're a student. So you could also Google Webstorm student, and that'll give you like free access. And so you have to sort of send them your information. And if you have a .edu, meaning it's a student email from a .edu domain, like FresnoCityCollege.edu, I imagine your odds are going to be much greater for them saying, okay, you as a student can use this for free. So give that a try. And then when you've downloaded Webstorm, one of the first things you want to do is you're going to configure it. And when you first open Webstorm, this is what it's going to look like. I'm just closing my windows. And so you'll notice that mine has a certain look, and you could change the way Webstorm looks. And so you could download themes. So if you search for Webstorm color themes, you could come to this right here, color themes right there. And then you could just look through all these color themes and you could choose one which you like. I'm using Relax Your Eyes because I used to use like Sublime Text 3, but red doesn't show up so well in videos. And some people out there are, you know, like whatever, colorblind and things like that. So I'm going with Relax Your Eyes. I'm liking it quite a bit. And then I also am using a certain font. And that font is this one right here, Bitstream Vera something 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 Sans Mono. So I really like this font for coding. And so I've made a whole bunch of settings and I'm using that font. And here in this document, which I've given you a link to for the resources, and just to remind you, you could get here by going to this URL. I said I was going to be all casual, and now I'm like, fire, 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 fire. Here's the information. All right, so you could get there by going to that URL right there. And once you get there, you could come down and right here, you could just download my settings. You could download these. And so you can make your editor look just like mine. And you'll probably, or let me strike that, say that again, you will need to download and install this font if you want to use the same font. And how do you install a font? Well, you could just go to Windows, Install Font, and you could see how to do it. Or you could change it to Mac or whatever operating system you're on and figure out how to install a font. So install the font, and then once you have the font installed and you come to this link here, which will take you to this exact same folder I have here. Here are my settings. Here's the font. So download each of those. And then you'll go into Webstorm. And the first thing you'll do is you'll see this window and you'll configure it. So you want to go to Plugins. And then inside Plugins, turn off all these things, right? So just take a look at that screen, and then this screen, and then this screen right here, and then this screen, and then this screen. Hopefully when you import my settings, it'll do that for you automatically, and then if it doesn't, you could go in and turn them off. But turn off all of those, because there's a lot of stuff in here that, like Subversion, we don't need that. So don't have that service running as part of Webstorm. Otherwise, that's taking up resources. So turn off all of those plugins. And I didn't change anything, so I don't want to restart. And then you'll go and you'll say, hey, I just want to open something. And so you could go, you've downloaded the code for this course, you could just go find that folder. And so mine is here in Documents and in HTML, CSS. It's right there. And I'm just going to choose to open that folder. So when I open that folder, it's going to open up all my code. Now I'm ready to import the settings I downloaded. So remember, you downloaded these settings right here, McLeod settings. And I'm going to go to File, and this might be slightly different on Windows, but you're looking for Import Settings. And so choose Import Settings. And then once you have Import Settings, you'll go find that thing you downloaded. So mine would be like here in Downloads, and it'll be a jar file, J-A-R. So there's that. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a jar file. Let me see, what is that when we download it? Let's just download it. Yeah, J-A-R. So back to Webstorm and McLeod settings Webstorm. So there it is. So I just import that. I'm not going to do it because I already have it in there. And so that imports all the settings, and hopefully it'll make it just like mine. And look at how nice this is, right? This HTML. Now you might want to go in and you might want to change the size of the fonts. I made this big just so it's really visible in the video, trying to improve my video quality here and make it more easily consumable by you. Thinking of you. So I'm going to go into Webstorm and then Preferences, and again on Windows this will be slightly different, but you're looking for something like Preferences or Settings, and then I'm going to go in there and I could search here. One of the things I could search for is font. And so when you want to change something, the best thing to do in Preferences, or I think it's called Settings in Windows, is search for what you want to change. Like here I want to change font, and so I'm going to come in here and fonts, right? Okay, here's size 24. I'm going to crank that down if I'm just working on my own and not making videos for people. So I change the font there. But this is a little bit overwhelming the first time you come in here. You know, like wrap is one of the things I change, right? And so, you know, like here's the general wrap settings that I like. But, you know, you just have to spend a little bit of time digging around and getting used to it. Two more things I want to show you about Webstorm. One is really helpful. It's this key map reference, default key map reference right here. And so this gives you a whole bunch of shortcuts. And we'll reference this as we go through the course. I'll show you different shortcuts for using Webstorm. And if you're on Atom or Sublime, I apologize. I don't use those. You'll just have to figure that out on your own. But here are the key shortcut keys for Webstorm. And then the last thing I want to show you, which is really useful in web development, is live preview. And so here I've created a live preview, and I'm going to open up an HTML file. And in this HTML file, when I preview it, looks like this, right? And so I'm going to get this URL from hitting live preview. And remember, the way I got here was, here's the HTML. I go up to this right corner in Webstorm. That appears right there. I click that, and then I copy this URL. I'm going to come back to Webstorm and go to Run, Edit Configurations. And inside here, I'm going to add, so let me just get rid of this one here, get rid of that. And I'm going to add a new one, which just right here, JavaScript debug, put in the URL. That doesn't look quite right. Cancel that one, get rid of that. So I'm going to click the plus sign in JavaScript debug. There's the one. I want the name there. And I'm going to put in just like whatever, right? That could be whatever, it's just some name. Paste in that URL right there. Hit OK. And now when I click the little debug, you can see I've got whatever chosen. When I click debug, it's going to launch it again. And as I change things, so you see Arthur here has 3 R's, right? As I change that, and I think I already showed you this, like I make these videos late at night when I'm totally like sleep deprived, and then I forget sometimes what I've talked about because that's sleep deprivation leads to poor memory performance. And so as I change Arthur, you can see that Arthur is changing. And as I change the CSS, right, so this is like, my whatever arch nemesis, I'm going to change that to a different color, like maybe green. And as soon as I change it, boom, it shows up there. So being able to change your code and have 2 monitors, if you get that set up, change your code and see how that's changing your design, is a real instant iterative feedback loop, which really helps web programming, building websites, because as you change stuff, whoa, cool, I can see how the different settings are affecting things. And so live preview is awesome. Whatever editor you're working in, try to get that working, but that's how you get it working in Webstorm. And then the last thing you need to get live preview working in Webstorm is you need the Chrome plugin JetBrains. And so you need this using JetBrains ID Chrome Web Store. I just want to make sure Webstorm Chrome plugin, make sure that's the right one. JetBrains IDE Sport, yeah, same one. Is that the right one? JetBrains IDE Sport 3.5, 420, 3. So that's you need to get this plugin for Chrome right here. And it's already added to Chrome, so that's definitely the one I want. And yeah, so you need to get this plugin, and then you use Chrome to display everything. So that's a really important part of getting live preview working. All right, so that's my quick synopsis of Webstorm. And I was trying to rush because my class started at 4, and I got to go. I'll see you in the next video.